Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I am Sally Lemus. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Cost containment measures expected to roll out in the next few days. The administration submits a revised budget for the remaining months of the fiscal year. Also tonight, new corrections chief will have a lot of correcting to do. And police arrest a man believed to steal from a junior high school. In sports, the NMI Hall of Fame receives one new addition. Stay with us, we have these stories and more up next.
Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. If you feel it, come around with round. Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we give it to you. Everybody feel it, come around with everybody in the block. 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 Everybody round.
We knew it was time to make these when we started asking things like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to get a warm cinnamon roll right now? And why can't this kind of muffin come from the same place as a McMuffin? And isn't your coffee lonely without company from a glazed apple fritter? Well, consider these our 3 resounding yeses. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the WAMI and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, March 8, 2023. Topping tonight's newscast, Governor Palacios and Lieutenant Governor Apatang submit a revised budget to the NMI legislature for government operations and personnel over the next 6 months. The governor says in adjusting the numbers, they wanted to minimize the pain. This revision includes cut hours, removal of ARPA funding, depletion of the CDL fund, and much more. Let's listen to some sound from this afternoon's press conference up on Capitol Hill.
The proposed budget that we've submitted to the legislature has made some very painful proposals, and rather than going 64, we propose to go 72. We're proposing to go to 72 and use the additional revenue that we believe would be realized in the last 6 months of the fiscal year. So we're going to use that for 8 hours of the total hours and make that 72 rather than 64 hours. You know, we had at one point $600 million provided to the Commonwealth government. And we depleted that pretty much in 18 months. The former Secretary of Finance assured the legislature that the 25% was going to be paid out of CDL. well, CDO no longer exists, and we need to fund that now under the general fund. And the general fund, that object class, that expenditure is not authorized. So we need to make that.
There are some positive developments from the economic activities as of now. The governor mentioned that have led to purpose this revision budget. And based on the collection posted on the first, second quarters of the current fiscal year, our analysis of the trend in the previous 3 fiscal years, we are projecting a modest of about 11% increase in local revenue collections, or about $11.8 million. Now, these funds will be reallocated to government operations and priority obligations to the remainder of the fiscal year. And we remain committed to ensure the continued payment of debt services, continued payment of the government obligations to the settlement fund, and of course the public school system, allocation of $1 million to cover up group health insurance for the remainder of the fiscal year, support for the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation's Network Program, formerly known as Medical Referral, with $1 million, which is on top of the $1.16 million already provided to CHC in Public Law 22-22. Support for public education institutions and other critical functions of the government, outside sources, including compact impact funds and CWPs. And while we make this necessary adjustment in our 2022 budget, Governor and I will continue to aggressively pursue federal reimbursement owed to the Commonwealth so that these funds can be applied to the local match requirement for medical, Medicaid, and 25% portion of the retiree pensions.
We had the unpleasant responsibility of going through the numbers, and the Department of Finance, as well as the legislature and the OMB and other fiscal professionals have looked at the numbers, and this is the situation we're in.
Some cost containment measures already in effect are the termination of 500 ARPA-funded employees, suspension of within-grade increases, cancellation of government cards, travel limitations, close monitoring of overtime, and inventory of government-paid phones. The administration is also currently reviewing vehicle leases, office leases, vacant positions that will be eliminated, and the merging of government offices and departments. Both the House and Senate will be meeting tomorrow for further discussion and hopefully adoption of the submitted budget proposal. All right, our next story, senators confirm corrections commissioner who may have a lot on his hands. Let's take a listen. The Senate Committee on Executive Appointments and Government Investigations confirmed Anthony Torres as the new commissioner of the Department of Corrections this morning.
Overwhelming. I mean, to sit there and hear the comments made by the public, it was just wow. Just to be of service and to our community, to our islands, and to hear the impact that I'm having on our community and our staff. It gives me more power to move forward and lead, righteously in our department and for all our islands, so that we can live in a better CNMI.
The senators commented on Torres's extensive background career in corrections and did not ask many questions about his qualifications. The concern focused on his plans for officers who are reported to have low morale based on a desk audit review.
The report stated that correctional officers were in a pay period where going up to as far as 106 hours in overtime. Anywhere from 64 to 106 in overtime. And, you know, even just seeing that and hearing that some of these officers work 12 to 16 hours a day for 6 days and even not having days off could be contributing to why a lot of them are leaving and with the pay.
According to Torres, there are currently 157 FTEs, but only 124 on-board staff.
With the overtime situation, I've tasked a roster committee or a schedule committee to come up with a plan so that we can decrease the overtime for the staff and the line. I'm sorry, for the line officers. So that's coming to fruition soon. We're looking at anywhere from 38 hours of overtime for each officer, drop down to about 6 to 8 hours.
Madam Chairwoman Selena Babauta asked Torres if he is aware of any other major issues within the department. Torres states he spoke with all his officers in the first week.
If you know you're not supposed to be doing it, you need to stop now. You need to stop now. Because if you get pulled up, I will hold you accountable. And for those of you who are, you know, struggling with an addiction of some sort, reach out to me and I will adhere to your confidentiality and we'll try to get you some treatment. But if you wait till after 2-3 weeks and you get randomly selected and you pop positive, I will hold you accountable.
Torres further disclosed he also brought in dogs from the Custom Division without anyone's knowledge to conduct a search of the facility.
With limited staff, we went in and we did a haste shakedown, and yeah, we found contraband. And we went into the other units. Of course, they were able to flush it down because they heard the dogs and they did whatever they needed to do. But that gave me an opportunity to do a full sweep and to kind of have an idea of what I'm dealing with. And I plan to do that more and more and more.
The Senate chamber was filled with Torres's family members and DOC officers, several who told senators they are in support of his nomination. Through several tips to the Crime Stoppers hotline, police officers identify a male caught on camera for theft and makes an arrest. McPeterson Tipingeni, also known as MC, was arrested on Thursday and is facing the charges of burglary and theft. Bail is set at $25,000. According to the Department of Public Safety, school principal of Admiral Hopper Junior High reported that their campus had been burglarized twice in just 1 week. Detectives from the Criminal Investigation Division were shown security footage of a male individual forcing entry into a storage room and stealing items inside. Photos were provided to the CNMI Crime Stoppers to seek public assistance in identifying the male in the still photos. Several tips determined that the male was Tipingeni. The Honorable Judge Teresa Kim Tenorio signed an arrest warrant for Tipingeni on March 23rd. Detectives arrested Tipingeni in Chalampiel on the same evening, where he was transported to the Department of Corrections to be booked and detained. Also in court, the brother of a Saipan senator claims there is illegal cockfighting activities going on in their family compound and asked the court to make him the administrator of the land. David Borja Roberto is asking the CNMI Superior Court to reopen the probate of his mother, the estate of Maria Borja Roberto, for further administration and that he be appointed executor. Roberto claims his siblings are keeping rental payments to themselves and that one of their properties is being used for cockfighting activities. Roberto says his mother's will stated that all proceeds from properties being rented out be distributed to the listed children. But Roberto claims the previous administrators, in collusion with other siblings, are renting out or leasing the properties in their individual capacity without authority and retaining the proceeds for themselves. As for the alleged cockfighting activities, in 2018, former U.S. President Donald Trump signed into law the Agriculture Improvement Act, which banned cockfighting in the United States and its territories. Among Roberto's siblings is Senator Selena Babauta. KSPN reached out to Babauta for comment on the alleged cockfighting activities, but has not received one as of press time. According to Roberto, who is representing himself, he is more than capable of handling the state's affairs. Fare hikes have made air travel between the islands of Micronesia cost prohibitive for many residents and business travelers. And as the islands push for a resumption in tourism, high travel costs are a major impediment. We take a further look inside the numbers. Our Chris Nelson has the story.
On most days now, it costs more to fly to Guam than to South Korea from Saipan. The Saipan to South Korea flight is over 4 hours. Saipan to Guam, just 30 minutes. But recent price hikes have made the Guam to Saipan airfares sky high. On United, if you choose the U.S. as your region, round-trip airfares between Guam and Saipan now priced at $580 round-trip, $80 more if you want some legroom. As business people and residents question the new higher airfares, we sent United a list of questions, including 1. Is there a mechanism to this new pricing strategy that you can share? 2. Have costs substantially increased? 3. Is there a new revenue management system? In an email response to this list of questions, United says, in part, customers should note that fares vary depending on many factors, such as travel demand, travel dates, seasonality, and others. But that doesn't appear to be the case in our region. Prices look remarkably the same throughout travel dates, throughout seasons, and throughout demand periods. We looked at both United's website and Google Flights, and we found pricing to be remarkably similar. We looked at March, we looked at April, May, June, July, August, through the fall, September, October, November, and December. $580 almost every day of the year. Well, a couple of days it was $587. Here's a graph of what demand pricing looks like on the flight from Los Angeles to New York on United. And this may be what United was referring to. Pricing does go up and down from a low of $250 for a round-trip coast-to-coast ticket up to about 3 times that amount. And here is what the pricing graph looks like on the Guam to Saipan United flight. Graph is essentially not a graph, it's just a straight line. United also says that Guam and Northern Mariana Island residents can avail themselves of resident fares by updating their location on United.com. Before searching for fares, customers should be sure to update their location to Northern Marianas or Guam. Continental Micronesia previously serviced the route, and in the 90s it was priced at $79 round trip with multiple jet departures during the day. In 2004, Cape Air brought ATR 42s to the region, joined the route with Continental, and offered 5 times daily service, including service to Rota. Prices were $106 round trip.
We've brought in Cape Air to augment the Continental service, so we'll be 7 times per day out of Saipan, either direct to Guam or via Rota, and the new introductory fare is only $106 per person.
In 2010, Continental Airlines and United Airlines merged. The new company, United, ended the contract with Cape Air in 2018 and reintroduced jet service. But with jet service restored, departures dropped to just 1 per day, and prices have risen dramatically. While fares have increased dramatically locally, United does compete on price and service around their system. In April, Portland to San Francisco, $198 round trip. Chicago to Des Moines, $148 round trip. The flight from Guam to Saipan, however, costs roughly the same as flying from San Francisco to Honolulu, and more than from Los Angeles to New York, flights that are up to 8 times longer. Glenn Wakai is a Hawaii state senator who previously worked in Micronesia and still does occasional trips out here to bring medical supplies and attend meetings.
How in the world can a half-hour flight to the CNMI from Guam be that expensive? And I would imagine if you're coming from Saipan to Hawaii, I don't know, if it must be in the neighborhood of like almost $2,000 to travel all that way. It's ridiculous what a monopoly airline can do to the people of the Micronesia and the CNMI.
It's not just Saipan to Guam. The Guam to Palau flight on United is over $1,200 round trip for a 2-hour flight. In Hawaii, Hawaiian Airlines and Southwest Airlines both provide inter-island service on jets. It's a 40-minute flight, and it's priced at between $77 and $105 round trip on each day of the week.
The problem is that you have a monopoly carrier there that can charge whatever it pleases. And I keep continuing to tell those who would listen to me in Micronesia that you got to increase the opportunity for competition.
Mariana Southern Airlines flies the Guam to Saipan route as well, but even with their initial low introductory airfares, the 9-seat aircraft haven't seemed to affect United's pricing strategy. Wakai believes the only way to get lower airfares is to attract a major competitor by way of bundling the business.
What I try to convey to the chief executives in Micronesia is to contemplate the idea of putting together all of your government travel and packaging it into a request for proposal and send it out to the world. Because we know that much of the travel within Micronesia is government or nonprofit. Some outside source is funding travel. I mean, when you look at the RMI and their minimum wage is $2 an hour, there is no way that your average Marshallese can afford a $1,800 ticket to Hawaii. Most of that travel is paid for by the UN or some nonprofit entity, or the government is paying for it. So if government accounts for a vast majority of the travel in Micronesia, why not collectively put all of the islands together and say, here, the Sinamai, Guam, FSM, Palau, and RMI are going to cobble together all government travel and bundle it together. And then you, Delta, American, JAL.
One travel insider, when asked about the Guam to Saipan route, said, quote, "Well, it's always been a monopoly. First Continental Micronesia and now United. The problem now is that they are emphatically emphasizing it."
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up, PSS Commissioner is tasked to make decisions due to the board's lack of quorum. Stay tuned.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month. Plus, a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
Green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles call the Mariana Islands home. They're an important part of the marine ecosystem. They are under threat, and they are protected under CNMI law. Keep plastic out of the ocean. Keep vehicles off the beach. Use the Sea Turtle Stranding Hotline if you see poaching activities or if you see a turtle in trouble. Call 287-8537 and save a turtle.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. The CNMI Board of Education will be meeting in 2 weeks. Until then, PSS Chief takes over the decision-making. March 23rd is the next scheduled date for the CNMI Board of Education to meet and hopefully establish quorum. Board member Gregory Borja discloses that the board has been meeting since January 9th, but they could not get all the members to be at the table.
We have had a disconnect with some of our members in terms of scheduling a meeting where everyone can be on island at the same time. We do have members that travel off, so there's been a limited amount of days that they're available compared to some of the other members, so it's created a challenge for us to all try to get together.
Borja says they have attempted to hold several meetings after to accommodate everyone's schedule.
Because we really need to get things moving with the board. So 3 of the members have been making themselves more available than the others have.
The lack to establish quorum has failed to address several critical items on the agenda, such as grant requests, certification and licensure matters, and calendars for the upcoming school year, and much more. Since then, PSS Commissioner Dr. Alfred Atta has been selected to call the shots.
Based on advice and recommendations from our legal counsels, there are provisions within the education law that if the board fails to meet, that the powers to keep the school system in operation do fall to the Commissioner of Education, who is an employee of the Board of Education. So at this time, the Commissioner is making majority of those decisions.
There are some areas where ADA does not have authority to make decisions, such as funding issues for these special education and Head Start programs, which require board adoption.
We haven't reached the deadline to those yet, although they are fast approaching by the end of this month. So the school system is still moving forward at the direction of the Commissioner of Education. He still does make regular contact with all board members, to seek input in different areas, but we just can't come together and make a decision as a board to help lead him in that regard. But the communication is still there, and right now the communication is opening up between all the board members that we are able to contact each other individually.
Again, the next Board of Education meeting is set for March 23rd at 10 a.m. at the BOE Conference Room in Capitol Hill. More tonight from the Tumon Bay Music Festival. Our Chris Nelson sings along.
The last time we were here was in 2020, right before COVID. And then there were no festivals until this year. So they just started the festival back this year.
With a big swell and big wind, one number brought plenty of smiles to the faces of the audience and the performers, and it started with a drum roll. From Wipeout, Saipan Community went into a song called This Is Me, originally performed by actress and singer Keala Settle, who plays Letty Lutz in the movie The Greatest Showman.
This is the look out, 'cause here I come. I'm marching on to the midnight drum. Not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me.
The song includes the line, "I am who I'm meant to be, this is me." It's an anthem of acceptance for P.T. Barnum's cast of circus performers, and the kids put their own signatures on the song that won a Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song. Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News.
Wow, what a great rendition from the SIS students. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We have sports up next.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Bring your friends in for the best night out at Godfather's Bar in Garabin. Sing along to your favorite hits with live music from the Gigolos. Godfather's has daily food and drink specials like Taco Tuesdays. The best pizza on island every day of the week. Located on Palm Street in Garabin.
Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time, and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live.
Buenas sports fans.
And for your KSPN Sports Report, it's that time of year again when the NMI top athletes, coaches, teams, and sports federations are recognized for their outstanding performances. The Northern Marianas Sports Association hosted the annual awards banquet last night at the Crown Plaza Resort in Garapan. NAMASA President Mr. Jerry Tan led the opening ceremony of this annual event.
Almost 9 months ago, when time flies, right? We've been preparing it for over a year, and then it happened within 10 days, it's done. And 9 months later, here we are tonight at the banquet looking at, to me, those are all priceless memory. The fact that Pacific Games Council is able to push through to have the 2022 Pacific Mini Games in the Commonwealth is a blessing. Because as a host, very, very difficult, we can easily walk away and said it's not easy to host it, a lot of uncertainty, but we stick to it with everyone's input, with everyone's involvement. The rest is history.
One of the highlights of this award ceremony is the induction of an individual to the Hall of Fame for his lifelong contributions to sports in the NMI.
As a player, our inductee was a product of the Little League program and represented NMI in the Big League World Series in 1997 and 1998. He moved to Saipan Major League and was selected as a member of the NMI national team on several occasions, competing in the South Pacific and the South Pacific Mini Games, mobile games, and recreation games. While playing for SML, he also coached in Little League, leading the Patriots to undefeated season in the major and junior divisions. Our inductee was also involved in girls fast-pitch softball, having coached Saipan Southern High School, Mount Carmel School, and the Patriot Angels. And just last year, our inductee managed the NMI national baseball team that won gold medal in the 2022 Northern Marianas Pacific Mini Games. Our newest member of the NMI Sports Hall of Fame, Maddie Sablon Jr.
I'm honored, I'm honored thanks to the board that nominated me. I'm surprised. But yeah, since 94 I started till now. Kind of slow, hurting, but for the love of the game, keep going. Yeah.
Sablon was also recognized with 3 other coaches and was given the Coach of the Year award. Meanwhile, Namasa also presented an award to 9 sports federations in the NMI who helped and led their teams for their remarkable performances during the NMI Pacific Minigames last year.
NMI Tennis Association. Triathlon Association of NMI, CNMI Federation of Golf Association, CNMI Weightlifting, and lastly, Northern Marianas National Paddle Sports Federation.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Goat's Gym, and today we're going to go over the kettlebell deadlift. Fantastic exercise to build overall strength, particularly in the legs and hips. Remember, we want to make sure that our setup is in good position. If you set up in a bad position, it's not going to look good and it's certainly not going to feel good. So a common error setup is obviously a rounded upper back. 2 simple ways of correcting that. All I'm gonna have Vince do here is extend his arms up here, and all he's gonna do is think about reaching long and pushing his hips back. Reach long and push your hips back. So as you can see, he's already in good position. Now all he's gonna do is grab that kettlebell. He's got tension in his legs and in his back. All he's gonna do is just stand up tall, finish with his glutes.
And for tonight's weather report, partly sunny with scattered showers and thunderstorms, south-southeast wind around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Northeast wind 3 to 7 miles per hour, high 86, low 78. Humidity at 82%. Tomorrow, partly sunny with scattered showers. Southeast wind 5 to 7 miles per hour, becoming light and variable in the afternoon. High 86, low 77. In the marine forecast, winds will be gentle to lower and moderate with combined seas of 4 to 6 feet through the end of the week. Expect brief periods of scattered showers with a possibility of isolated thunderstorms for much of the week as a surface throw interacts with shear line dropping south into the region. Northeast wind 5 knots, wind waves 2 feet or less. Northeast swell 5 to 6 feet. Sunrise will be at 6:30 a.m., high tide 8:14 p.m., low tide 2:50, and the sunset you can catch that at 6:26 p.m. And there you have it. That is your midweek edition of the news, sports, and weather here in the Marianas. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you back on Monday for more.